There's an old expression, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Well, here in Ireland, at least politically, we skip the first bit. They just stay the same. So we've had an election here in Ireland. I did make a few videos in the run-up to the election and, well, it's been done. The votes have been counted, the seats have been allocated, and the dust has settled. So, what have we learned from the whole experience? And what can we expect in the years to come? Well, as I've said quite a number of times on this channel, the whole Irish political system, the political sphere, is designed specifically and tailored to nothing ever changing. That's how it's designed. It's designed for stability. It's designed so that there can't be any major bumps and upheavals and avalanches. It's basically three major parties and a bunch of headbangers surrounding them. So you'll always get two of the three to make up a government, bolting on a spurious party like the Green Party in the last Parliament, and this next Parliament it remains to be seen. Now, apart from the small satellite parties, you have then a bunch of independents who also can be roped in to maybe make up the few seats needed to get the two of the three big parties over the line. That's essentially how it is. So you've got the three big parties now, who are all pretty much even Stevens. It's not a lot in the three. That's Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, the two old Civil War era parties. That's what they came out of the Irish Civil War era. And then you have Sinn Féin, who are the upstarts. But Sinn Féin have managed to grow to the point where they're now on a level with both of those parties. So you'll always get two out of the three. The only question is, which two do you get? Because as far as I'm concerned, they're all essentially different shades of the same colour. All the parties in Ireland at the moment, possibly with the exception of a tiny party called Aontú, are all on the left. So you've got everything from centre-left right out to the complete Marxist communists in People Before Profit. That's the newly branded, essentially the Communist Party. So you have every flavour of left, and you've pretty much nothing on the other side. You might be able to possibly say a couple of the independents would float out onto the right, but then everybody in modern Ireland, according to the mainstream media, who is in any way to the right of Karl Marx or Chairman Mao, is deemed far right. That's how they inoculate the public. So how did the whole thing pan out eventually? Well, it was 174 parliamentary seats up for grabs, and here's how it all went down. As you can see, the big winners here on the day were Fianna Fáil. They were the slightly junior partner in the last Parliament, with Fine Gael coming in second at that occasion. Well, not this time. Sinn Féin actually came second. They had 39 seats, Fianna Fáil 48, as you can see. Fine Gael, that's the party of Simon the T-Boy Harris. He ran a disastrous campaign, and, well, they got 38 seats. Then the Green Party, one of the highlights of the election from my point of view, got completely and utterly obliterated. They dropped down to one seat. No! And who was that one seat, I hear you ask? You're not going to believe it, but it was actually this man. Yes, by some means he managed to squeak in just there or thereabouts, and who actually voted for him is a mystery for me and for the ages. But in he got, and the Green Party now are essentially all but wiped out. One man who didn't manage to get elected was a good friend to the channel, John, sometimes known as the Twix, McGahan, the Fine Gael candidate from County Louth. Regular viewers to my channel will of course remember John the Twix from such japery and chicanery as shoving a chocolate bar up an unconscious man's arse at a rock concert, and drunkenly propositioning another man's wife whilst the man was standing beside her outside a pub, then proceeding to get into fisticuffs with said man, as you can see here. Yes, it appears Senator John, he is actually a sitting senator, became something of an albatross round the Fine Gael party's neck, a bit of a toxic brand, and none of his compatriots would stick up for him or want to campaign alongside him. And, well, as for the locals, they weren't all that enamoured with his colourful shenanigans either.
Senator John McGahn. Dirty boy. Any chocolate bars? Have you any chocolate? What are you doing around here, you scumbag? Get out of here, scumbag.
Yes, the campaign for John the Twix started badly and went downhill from then on. He's just going to have to content himself, it seems, with being a senator. Well, when you're part of the Golden Circle, you never fall all that far, do you? So that brings us back to the state of the parties, and where does that all leave us? Well, Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil were in government for the past almost 5 years in tandem with the Green Party, and the Green Party is, let's just say, no more. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, even though the roles have reversed now, Fine Gael, Simon the T-Boy's party, were the dominant party in that coalition last time out. Well, Fianna Fáil have overtaken them. They're ahead by 10 seats now. So they have stated that this election is somehow a validation of the last government, or at least their part in it. So they have expressed the wish to go into another government together, with the exclusion of the third big party, which is Sinn Féin. And Sinn Féin, not having a dance partner with the other two big parties, really has nowhere to go. There just isn't enough. Even if you scramble together a load of the other spurious parties and independents, that just can't get there. So the ball is now firmly in the court of Micheál Martin of Fianna Fáil, who you may remember from such great speeches as,
"We want nothing to do with a backward-looking idea of sovereignty,"
and Simon the T-Boy Harris. Wait a minute, play that again? I gotta say it, that man's as camp as a row of tents.
Welcome to the club, buddy.
One can't help but wondering on that performance if Simon the T-Boy is anything he'd like to tell us. Possibly not. So that really leaves it down to a simple question. Who will the two boys get into bed with? Metaphorically speaking, that is. Will it be, perhaps, the Labour Party, led by that uber-ambitious lady, Ivana Bacik, or Ivana Batshit, depending on which side of the aisle you're on? Or will it perhaps be the Social Democrats, led by Holly, the lights are on but nobody's home, Cairns? Or will they go and try and make up some semblance of raggle-taggle gypsies in the form of a few independents? This remains to be seen. Well, it has to be said as well that the turnout for this election was historically low. In fact, it was so low, I think it was the lowest figure, according to the statistics, for over a century. So that's very telling. And it could illustrate, it suggests to me that a large proportion of the Irish electorate are disenfranchised, possibly disillusioned, that the whole thing is just gone beyond where a vote matters, that it doesn't matter who you vote for, you just get the same thing every time. And I've made this point on the channel in previous videos, that essentially you can vote for anybody you like, but they'll cobble together the main parties and a bunch of spurious people on the side. They'll cobble together a thing that's exactly the same as the last thing. So you don't actually get any change. On some of the absolute hot button issues of the day, all of the main parties are in complete lockstep. Nobody wants to change anything about it. They're all just arguing, especially when it comes to the mass immigration situation that we have, which has led on to other problems, as I've discussed before, in society with housing, schools, prison places, and all medical care, hospitals, all that, doctors. Nobody will tackle it. They're all just talking about how to better manage it, but nobody wants to actually do anything about it. So the biggest issue of the day, which is that one, and other issues, there's really nobody you can vote for in the main sphere, in the main body politic, because no matter who you vote for, they're going to implement the same policy. And as well as that, a big rain check for a lot of people was the last 4.5 years, where it was illustrated, shown in full technicolor, that the so-called opposition, which was Sinn Féin, were no opposition at all. They provided absolutely no counterbalance to the government of the day. And that was a real eye-opener for a lot of Sinn Féin supporters and for a lot of the public at large, because they really saw that the way Ireland's modern political system was working was completely and utterly dysfunctional. We had an opposition, supposed, that wasn't an opposition in any real meaningful way. They were an opposition in name only, and all they were doing was talking about small details that nobody really gave a damn about, semantics. It was all just theatre. And I think a lot of people, as far as my opinion goes, a lot of people saw this, were completely disheartened by this, and perhaps that was the reason many of them chose not to bother going out to vote. There could have been an apathy there, and I think there definitely was. So what do you think of how all of that played out? And is this the way forward for Ireland? The right, so-called right, didn't make a breakthrough. The message obviously didn't land, and that was a great disappointment for many of us, me included. But where do we go from here? Leave a comment down below, and we need to have a discussion about the state of play and the state we're in a political sense, in an electoral sense. I appreciate all comments, and the comment section is where all the great ideas seem to come forth. So make sure you're subscribed, and we'll talk more about this in the near future.